డబ్బు అనారోగ్యం ఉద్యోగం వ్యాపారం అప్పులతో బాధపడుతున్నారా మీకోసమే లాంచ్ యువర్ ఫ్యూచర్ ప్రోగ్రామ్.
Hi viewers, here I am at Hyderabad's the most destination, the most favorite destination. I would say this is the destiny for all the startups and for all the founders there and for all the youngsters who are budding entrepreneurs and dreaming of making it big in the unicorn world. So I am at Hyderabad's T Hub, the very own Telangana hub here for all the startups who get incubated here in a very programming in a professional manner. And I have a special person with me today, and that's none other than the CEO of T Hub. I have Mr. Mahankali Srinivas Rao here with us, who will be unveiling all the details to us and would help us grow along with T Hub, especially when it comes to all the dreams getting realized here. So let us go ahead and let me start asking the first question. Sir, welcome to our show.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you for having me.
Sir, our viewers would be more than happy to know in T Hub, what's the, in T Hub 2.0, to be very specific, this has the entire world's attention towards T Hub Hyderabad 2.0. So we would love to know, how the entire incubation process goes up here, and what are the kind of special schemes, if you have, or any investors, or there any advantages for any startup dreamer who is willing to join T Hub here as a startup company.
Sure. So first of all, Anil, I'll have to give you, I'll try and keep the answer brief. So obviously at T Hub, one part of the initial part of the work is around co-working. So we have a nice co-working space. We have about 2,000 seats at this point in time, and we'll look to add some more as we go along. But I think the work we do is much more than the physical infrastructure. It is what I call the soft infrastructure. Right?
Okay.
So we have programs for startups. So we have different programs depending on the life cycle of the startup, where the startup is in the life cycle. So is it, for example, is the startup in an idea stage? If the startup is already got to a prototype, then we have a program. Then if they're already in the market, they've already monetized to some extent, how do they accelerate their go-to-market, product market fit? And then, of course, how do we help them raise money? So this is one part. The second part is about market access. How do we help our startups get in front of clients, build government, defense, international, etc. Third part is money. So how do we help our startups with some support from by way of capital? So we are part of many schemes. Central government, there are specific schemes, for example, the Startup India Seed Fund, for example, and then different schemes from other ministries as well. And then our very own T Fund, which is a state government initiative. So we try and support. Apart from that, we built a network of 40 plus investors across India who support early stage investing, a combination of angel networks, institutional VCs, and so on. Right? We do a lot of work on mentorship. So you can come in, you're looking for a mentor for a particular area, we'll find one. We already have, of course, we can work with them. Then helping them with raising talent, manpower, we do that. And last but not least is about creating a motivation and mindset, focused this thing. So we do a lot of events where we get entrepreneurs to come in, talk about their journeys, their experiences, their challenges, and so on. Right? So that's broadly what we are trying to do. It's much more than just the physical space. It's about providing them with methodology, with market access, with mentorship, with money, with talent, and with the right kind of motivation and mindset.
T Hub, how it is. T Hub is helping all these dreamers who are really approaching T Hub. Are there any entry kind of procedures what they need to follow, or what are the kind of parameters they need to meet to to become part of T Hub and get incubated?
So I think we go through a process. So for example, for all our programs which I referred to, we put our applications out. They are available we put these applications out typically a month to 45 days prior to the commencement of a program. So these are all put out on the various social channels, so LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and so on. So people apply. We have a screening, shortlisting, selection process, which is done partly by our team, but we also involve external experts who can provide a deep insight or a deep perspective into that area which the startup is pitching, and then we select them, and then we put them into a cohort. We run a set of programs which could vary in duration from 45 days to 120 days or more.
So, in the last 1 year, if we talk about, in the last one financial year, 2023, 1st of April till this 31st of 2024, how many, startups have been successfully, become either unicorns or maybe some kind of a futuristic, kind of unicorns, or any successful startups which have been incubated in T-Hub and then went out and successfully running big business?
Sure. So I think good question, Neil. So obviously we do have many companies like, for example, in space we have Skyroot, we have Dhruva Aerospace.
Okay.
Then you would have probably heard of this company called Adonmo, which is into display advertising.
Okay.
So they have raised a large amount of money. Then we have other companies like Bolt Earth, which is in the EV space. Then of course a lot of other smaller companies. Companies like Two Hands, which is basically built a electronic calculator-like device for small retail and kirana stores.
Okay.
So it helps you do cash inventory, management.
They have also participated in the Shark Tank.
Shark Tank, correct.
Okay.
Correct, yeah.
The Indian version.
Indian version. Then we have Portal,
Okay.
which is an exercise menu. So I can go on a long list.
Wow.
But I'm happy to say that several of our companies have featured on popular Shark Tank-like shows, but that's not the important measure for us.
Yes.
It's really more about how much traction they've got, what
Yes.
funding they've raised,
Yes.
and how many new jobs they've been able to create,
Yes.
etc. So I think we are doing good.
You're doing great, in fact, because as per my surveys and as per the research what I have done across India's different incubators and other co-working spaces, in the top 5, T-Hub has been definitely making its mark. So
Sure.
that's what the feedback what we have got. What is the reason or what is the secret behind that?
Sure. I think first of all, I think credit to the entrepreneurs first.
Okay.
Right? Because we are what we are because of the entrepreneurs we work with.
Absolutely.
Right? And the entrepreneurs are the ones who do all the hard work.
Correct.
And our role is essentially to be able to provide them all the guidance, support, assistance required to help them scale. They have to do the heavy lifting. Our role is really to work as a facilitator, a catalyst,
Correct.
an enabler, and provide them with access to resources. Try and help them reduce the friction, inherent. How does a young no-name startup get in front of a large customer? So that's where, for example, by way of market access, we can facilitate that. Right?
Correct.
How does a startup get in front of an investor? So we use a combination of our networks, our methodologies, etc.,
Okay.
to try and see how we can make the startup much more, liable, much more focused on becoming successful.
Wow. What sort of specific, this could be, last but not the least, very important question. What sort of educational programs you run for all the, dreamers who are, who are already getting incubated in T-Hub?
Sure. So as I said, we have 4 flagship programs. We have a program called Blitz, which is an idea to MVP program. We have a program called Rubrics. This is a design program. Then we have a program called Lab 32, which is a go-to-market and product market fit program. And then we have a program called T-Angel, which is a funding program.
Okay.
Right? So these are the 4 main programs. We of course have several other programs which are, for example, vertical focused. Healthcare, sustainability, mobility, space, semiconductor, and so on.
Apart from the AI, ML, and other fintech companies, are there any sustainability focused startups coming up?
We do have a large number of sustainability focused startups.
Can we have 1 or 2 names from them?
So, for example, we have many
Most
companies
promising?
in the EV space. So we've had companies like, for example, Hala Mobility.
Okay.
Then you will probably know of this company called Gayam, Gayam has now been canonized as Bilti, but they are a three-wheeler EV, predominantly for cargo. And they are doing extremely well. They've also raised a large sum of money, etc. So we have those, and then of course we have other startups. I don't want to, it will be unfair to single out and call
Yes.
names of startups, because I think all of our startups in the sustainability space are doing some really interesting work. Things like how to reduce methane emission, for example. How do you create, hybrid energy forms? So a whole bunch of guys.
Wow, I think we have quite a big list of incubated companies here in T-Hub. So we are going to come up with a very big series of exclusive interviews in the future episodes. Definitely, we are going to show you lots of exclusive episodes on that. So we will come back to you again. Thank you very much for your time, sir. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Anil. Thank you. Been a pleasure talking to you.
Same here.
సుమన్ టీవీలో మీ పర్సనల్ అండ్ బిజినెస్ ప్రమోషన్స్ కోసం కింది నెంబర్కి కాంటాక్ట్ చేయండి.